Hello, everybody in the chat. How is everybody doing today? I'm hoping you're all doing well. I'm your host, Aerodori, and our co-host here, Fruit-shaped. She is, she's still muted.
Sorry, I thought we were waiting longer to start talking.
No, we're starting now.
Okay. I'll have to finish this team app quietly then.
Well, the good news is, we are just about, we're just about ready to start. Oh wait, there we go. So, today we have two teams.
Am I correct to say that it's Purge and
How did we get here?
how did we get here?
Yeah, I always I always ask myself that question. How did I get here?
How did we get here?
How did we get here? Unfortunately, my computer is saying that there's an unstable internet connection. Uh-oh. Hopefully it's not too bad.
That could be problematic.
But you do know, the good news is that we have a good game coming in today. Now, have you seen the maps? Please tell me you have, because this is gonna be fun.
I think you might have to tell me the maps here.
We've got Dead Dog Saloon and Gas Heaven.
One of my favorite maps. Also, one of my favorite maps. These are two of my favorite maps. I think Gas Haven, if I had to pick one map to play every single game as Killer and Survivor, I would pick Gas Haven. Every single match, Gas Haven.
Really? You would actually pick Gas Heaven every single game if you had the chance?
I mean, if I had to pick one map to play just every single game of Dead by Daylight for the rest of all the time that I played Dead by Daylight, I'd pick Gas Haven, I think.
I'm actually kind of surprised by that.
Why, you got something against Gas?
I'm not a big fan of Gas Heaven. Gas Heaven's just really not my cup of tea. But both of these teams are in the survival division. And we're only in week 4. It's Purge versus, how did we get here? Let's see. Purge is going to be playing versus Petroleum next week. Asphyxia the week after. And Deadhead's the 3rd week from now. And how did we get here is going to play against Alter, Entity, and Celestials on those weeks. And, I'm curious what killers are gonna bring, because
we're gonna be going into a Dead Dog game first.
Yeah, we're gonna be going into Dead Dog and then Gas Heaven.
Purge on Killer first.
Purge is on Killer.
Let me take a look at the Killer use tracker.
Yeah. Let's see what killers have already been picked.
Let's see what killers Purge has already picked so far, and what they have left. Purge, no demo, already used both their demos. Used a Slinger, a Huntress, one Nurse, and a Plague. So if we're looking at killers that do well on Dead Dog, Wraith is an option. He has good mobility, so he can deal with the buildings. Bamboozle works well on him, which is also a good perk on this map due to the extremely powerful windows that you have at the main building and sort of across on the other side of the road.
Yeah, I do think Wraith is probably one of the options that one of the teams is going to go with. I don't think either of the teams have used up their Wraith in any capacity.
That is correct. The only team who has played Wraith in the survival division so far is Celestials in week 2.
Oh, okay.
So we have full Wraith usage on the table for both teams.
If I
Other options
remember,
I think of,
excuse me.
people who play around basement well. This map, as we all know, is a very small map that can also have a central basement in the shack. So my mind immediately goes to like, if it was me playing, I would certainly think about the Huntress pick on this map. A lot of really good 3-gens that you can hold as Huntress around the gallows, good sight lines to abuse. The main building and the main building is admittedly not as problematic as Huntress for Huntress as it is against a lot of other killers, even if it is still not optimal. Bubba is another option. He deals well with small pallets. He can break the breakable walls while in chase very easily with the chainsaw. And he
But there
can
is a
use
bug with
central
Bubba, and I believe because of that bug, let me double check this, because there's a bug with Bubba where he
bug
can't break.
is that if you can only hit one thing with each chainsaw, so it can only hit a survivor once.
It
or
also
break
doesn't vacuum to pallets or doors, and Bubba can't break certain doors, and I don't know which ones those are. That's right. Nurse is banned. Not Bubba, not Billy, not any of the other killers that are also having issues, like Demogorgon. Apparently Cenobite is also having issues. I was told this last night after the Cenobite game that we were watching.
I feel like Plague is a very decent pick for this map.
Plague
like
is a good pick.
Plague
But
is a good pick.
Purge
Plague has become a very strong pick in all the killers in the roster with her recent buff. And she doesn't really have any maps that are particularly bad for her, aside from the normal maps that would be
bad for killer.
Bad for killer.
I do think though that it would be. I don't think that Purge is going to use their second plague on Dead Dog. Because they have Azrov's Resting Place, Ironworks of Misery, and Groaning Storehouse for their last 3 other maps, other than Dead Dog Saloon, for the rest of the season. I would expect them to bring Plague on Azrov's Resting Place if they don't bring Blight. I don't think that they've used their Blight yet.
It's true. The
They
only
have
team
not.
who have used their Blight is Alter in the Survival Division, so both teams will have the Blight open.
But Demogorgon is fully used up for Purge, so that...
I feel like your strongest picks on Dead Dog for, like, assuming you can't pick, like, a Nurse, you know, you wouldn't want to pick a Blight on Dead Dog.
Right.
But, as stated, Wraith can do well. Oni can do okay, although I feel like there's better picks, and there's better maps that you should save your Oni for. Plague can do very well.
Usually
However,
you do see M1s on Dead Dog.
I would go for an Executioner or a Cenobite pick.
I prefer Cenobite, and I think that both of us have been enjoying him more and more, figuring out, like, how good he really is. And, you know, everybody discounted him when he first came out, and I think that people are still not realizing how powerful he can be. Because not only does he have the power to, you know, get faster downs with his ability because of the chains, but also he can slow down the game with his box, and fairly, you know, decently prevent body blocks with the chains by slowing down that survivor specifically.
He plays well around body blocks. He plays well around pre-dropped filler pallets. And filler pallets in general, which can be very problematic in comp. A lot of killers suffer if you just pre-drop filler after filler.
Yeah, and the only tile that I think that he's genuinely struggling in is Shack, because at Shack he can't really do anything. You know, when he first came out, I thought, you know, maybe Pinhead is the kind of killer that you want to bring Brutal or Bamboozle on. Probably not Bamboozle because you can already force the slow vault, but you can't do anything about Shack Pallet. You know, he's one of the only killers that has like a ranged ability that, like, Shack is like really rough for him.
It's true that he can't really do anything about it once it's dropped, but again, I think if the survivor greeds Shack at all, it's not like he's a basic M1 who you can greed the pallet against, get a loop out of, and then drop it. If you run a loop around Shaq against a good Cenobite, he's going to get you with the chains, and he's probably going to get an M1. It's generally just not worth the risk. So, although he does have to break Shaq pallet, he can slow them down with the chains while he's breaking it. He can force them to throw it early, and then he can catch up to them quickly with the chains. So I don't think it's really that problematic for him, although Brutal does, potentially help him in that department. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be guessing that we're going to see a Pyramid Head or a Cenobite pick here.
It's also possible that we see Wraith. As we talked earlier, Wraith is a really good killer on this map, especially because of all of the breakable doors and breakable pallets. But however,
be a Bubba pick, aiming to play most likely around the central hooks and the potentially central basement that Bubba can have a lot of pressure around. He can deal with the door as well. I think this is a strong pick.
This is a really good pick, and I think this is really good RNG. Almost all of your gens are towards the middle of the map.
And he's found the Survivor already.
That's one of the strengths of Bubba. And getting an M1 here pretty early.
I think that's a good choice to M1 that. It does let the Michaela make main building.
Yeah, but it does mean that you get a pallet out of the way.
Pallet out of the way, a health state this early. I think that's generally good. And I'm not really sure why this Michaela chose not to...
It
was a balanced landing.
I think
she greeted that too much. I think she should have vaulted the other window.
Yeah, she could have. I think she could have vaulted the window and had just enough time to drop
is that
down.
That's going to be a basement.
It's going to be a basement hook. Now, we can't really see it, but this Bubba is moving really fast, and the survivors did notice Iron Grasp. Oh my goodness! Almost considering the insidious Bubba play there from Dave.
So, we have Corrupt, Agitation,
Iron Grasp.
That's 3 perks noted. We know that this abuse of the central basement is exactly what the Bubba was planning. And in retrospect,
this
with
is
the
an amazing hook.
Iron Grasp, going down there for the Michaela was not as much of a misplay. Because even if she went down in the corner of the map behind main building, the Bubba was still going to make basement most likely with these perks, as they let you just carry an absurd distance.
Now, I do think Dave here is playing this really smart, controlling not only 4 gens right next to Shaq, 3 of which are Corrupt, and Corrupt is over, and there is Deadlock on the main building gen.
Breaking the Gallows 3 gen.
I don't even know if it's actually breaking the 3 gen. It's breaking up one of them, but there is still a second one around Shaq. This hook already progressed into the second state. I
believe we're going to just see a kill here with a 3 gen up, which is going to be a very strong start for the Bubba.
It does look like that.
I feel like walking this far away at this crucial part of the game is a bit of a micro mistake on the Bubba's part, as they could have gotten a safe on hook there.
I'm not sure, because they're trying to get the gens for this, but it is starting to look like the Bubba's committing to main building. Doesn't want to risk.
As we have seen, the Bubba does have Deadlock, so we know all 4 perks. And I feel like with a Deadlock up and someone just goes to death in the basement, you don't have to take a risk. You don't have to walk away. You can just sit there, get a kill at 3 gens remaining. And I think it's a much less risky option. And considering that's going to be another fast down after the hook has
on top of that,
that's going to be another basement hook most likely.
It does look like the survivor has progressed to the death state.
That being said, they did break the second Gallows 3 gen. There will be no more 3 gens around the Gallows. Getting 2 gens for the first survivor death. If they can get another 2 for the second, they could be in a situation here where they can get a 1 escape, or maybe even a 2 escape if they play the endgame well.
I think if I was Dave, I would just camp this basement hook. Oh, but never mind, he found a survivor over here in the corner of the map. That's a sprint burst. Hopefully she can make it to main building in time. I don't know if he has enough charges to catch up. Oh, but this is close. Almost.
Will not get the chainsaw, but He will catch up a lot, cutting the distance with that chainsaw movement speed. And good game sense here, telling that they would be going for the unhook now. Probably going to get a double down. But he opts not.
He does not decide to tunnel, but gets the grab on Ace. Travesty, unfortunately, getting grabbed out of the locker there. Hopefully, for how did we get here, that this would be a deliverance.
If this is a deliverance play, then I think how did we get here can make a pretty strong comeback. But they're gonna need some deliverance DS shenanigans if this is going to be a very strong comeback.
Uh-oh. We do see two survivors now being pushed off the gems. Not
Exactly.
just one.
So the risk of that deliverance DS is why I think not hard camping that basement when you know you have someone in there and that they're going to be dead in a mere minute and a half or 2 minutes can be a potential misplay.
There could be a comma. Oh no, okay. So not only was that not Deli. Oh, that was dead. Oh no. Oh no.
And this is a very bad situation.
This is unlucky to be in. This.
No borrowed time.
There's no borrowed time. That is the second hook for Fang.
And no DS. So I believe this Bubba is just going to hard camp at this basement and then deal with the hatch.
And I don't think that either of those survivors have camaraderie either, because wouldn't it have activated on the...
It would have activated as they are on hooks right next to each other.
Uh-oh. I think they're going to try and just give hatch.
They're going to be killing each other on hook and trying to give their teammate hatch. Refresh my memory, do we have a hatch offering in this tournament?
There is no hatch offering in this tournament,
well,
but that is...
That's very unlucky for Arnia, getting found in an inopportune position.
Did not see Dave where he was coming from, but this is going to be the 4K at 3 gens remaining.
4K at 3 gens remaining is a very, very strong result against Bubba on Dead Dog, which can be a very hard map for killers with the strong loops in certain areas of the map and the ability to hide and stealth very particularly using the bushes that can be found all over the place.
Now, that's 30-4 in Purge's favor. After game 1, this is kind of scary, if you ask me.
I would be very scared going into a killer match here, as you have to look to get a 4K at 3 gens just to keep yourself even, or a 4K at 4 gens if you want to come out ahead.
Yeah,
which is a very hard result to get as a killer player.
Especially on Dead Dog Saloon, this could be one of the harder maps to get a 4K on as killer. But if you are able to defend your 3 gen, then you can still get it. It is still within reach at any given moment.
Oh, it's true, but defending a 3 gen would merely be a 4K at 1 gen. For this killer to tie, they're going to have to defend a 5 gen. Or a 6 gen. Yes, a 6 gen. Wait, no.
They
5 gen? How many gens?
I'm pretty sure 5 gens are possible, but unlikely on Dead Dog Saloon. As we did see earlier in this game, almost every single gen was towards the middle of the map. If you were Nurse, for example, that RNG would probably be a very easy win before 3 gens were finished. But, you know, for an M1 killer like Bubba, as we do, you know, we do know Bubba has an insta-down ability, but, you know, even though he has an insta-down ability, he's still an M1 killer. It's a little bit more difficult for him to defend some of those gens that are a little bit more extraneous than others, like the one at the top of the map that we saw get popped, and man, building is a little bit more difficult, but you know, it did work out for the killer's favor in this game. Now, I believe we are going to be getting an invite from... How did we get here? Because they're going to be stepping in the killer role. So we are waiting for an invite from... There we go. Actually, they literally just invited the second that I said that. So that is the good news here. We have Hammy Start TV. Now, I don't know Hammy, but what did we say that How Did We Get Here has access to?
How Did We Get Here has access to a cannibal pick. They can mirror the pick. They can pick their Blight. They can pick Cenobite, Demogorgon, Executioner.
Yeah. There's a lot of options, aren't there?
Oni. Most of our picks are still on the board. In fact, all of our picks have at least one use left for How Did We Get Here. So they really have their choice of whatever killer they want, aside from Nurse for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I think even though, because they used Nurse in week 3, I believe, correct? Or was that Purge?
How Did We Get Here did not use Nurse in week 3.
Sorry, I was looking at Purge. Purge used Nurse in week 3.
That's true.
How Did We Get Here? I think that they opted to use one of the other S tiers instead of Nurse, because Nurse is banned for the time being. So instead, now they have options between 2 uses of Blight or 2 uses of Spirit, both of which are incredibly strong. When we look at maps in this division, I do think using 2 Blights is probably the safer pick. When you have Torment Creek, you have Azrov's Resting Place, you have Gas Heaven, Ironworks of Misery, probably not one of the better Blight maps, but it is still a playable Blight map.
I'm gonna be very blatant with this. I don't think that there are many maps in the game where Spirit is better than Blight. Blight is just a much stronger killer than Spirit.
Yeah,
almost as, depending on the map, stronger than Nurse in my opinion.
I do think Spirit is better on some of the maps in the Brutality division. Excuse me, such as, you know, I would rather personally bring Spirit to Coal Tower than Blight, just because, you know, even though she doesn't have as much mobility as Blight, she can play some of the tiles a little bit easier than Blight can, just because it's Macmillan, and some of the fillers are a little bit awkward on Macmillan. Now, I'm not sure about Rotten Fields, but that is a rough map. It does look like Ice has that one.
I feel like Rotten Fields might be one of the few maps I would pick. I don't know. It's such
I would pick Demo if I had to play on Rotten Fields, which might hopefully isn't foreshadowing anything. I don't want to have to play on Rotten Fields too many times if I'm gonna. I'm not a fan. We discussed this earlier. We're not fans of the corn maps.
Not fans of the corn maps.
Last night we were talking about the corn maps, the sizes of them, and how Alter decided to not bring Corrupt Intervention on Torment Creek, the largest of the corn maps, and was able to pull out the victory. Maybe we see How Did We Get Here take a really adventurous build, let's say. Really risky build, trying to secure a 4K before all of the gens are done. They might take all slowdown perks.
I feel like if I was them and I needed to get a result like this as a killer on Dead Dog, I would probably go with someone who has either mobility or passive slowdown. And then I would go with some type of Ruin Undying, Thana Corrupt type of deal. I would probably pick this on Cenobite if it was me, as I feel like with the box slowdown, plus the Corrupt, the Ruin Undying, the Thana, people will have to be body blocking or they're going to be giving you downs. I feel like it's not impossible to get a 4K at 3 gens remaining if the survivors make some misplays that you can exploit.
Yeah, I am.
Other options with I might be willing to take a Freddy with a Ruin Undying. It needs to be somebody with mobility and kill potential if you're going to get this type of result on this map consistently.
Yeah, I don't know if Oni's the pick though, because there are so many breakable doors and windows, and not windows, breakable pallets. I don't know. I don't know if I would want to bring Oni on this map just because of the. Oni's already suffers with problems at pallets, and that's why you usually see people choosing to bring Brutal Strength on Oni. On a map such as Dead Dog's Saloon, knowing that people are also able to hide out your power much easier because of how easy it is to hide on this map. The bushes being the size of a survivor that is crouched does make it really difficult, especially if you know that, especially if you know that, the other person's reshade, their filters might be a little bit rough. And we do have Psycho Mantis in the chat reminding everybody how much I hate corn maps because my filters look bad on them. Okay, well, Psycho is calling me out. I know Fruit also doesn't like my reshade.
Your reshade, well, I mean, it's more your res that I don't like, but the reshade is also bad.
Well, I'm kind of surprised you don't like my reshade. And I'm kind of surprised you don't like my res. Usually, okay, so we've had a few arguments about this in the past. Most people do not appreciate not reshades, resolutions that are that don't look good on 1920 by 1080 monitors. Now, I use a 4K monitor, so
that does not make a difference to this.
It makes a difference to me because on my end it's higher quality.
Ah, yes, higher quality makes it okay to be playing on like the iPhone 50 where it's a small sliver and you have an arm the size of Texas taking up 2/3 of your screen.
Well, okay, in my defense, I do think that my resolution is perfect, and anybody who disagrees is wrong.
That's a very gutsy thing to say. That's a very gutsy thing to say.
I usually play on the resolution that would be the monitor being turned sideways. So that is 9:16. And in case anybody's curious, I have actually tried playing on a sideways monitor, actually sideways, so I didn't have to stretch the screen. It is not fun. Oh my goodness.
I have played it on that too, and I actually did like it, aside from the fact that I had to duct tape my monitor to the wall.
You had to tape your monitor to the wall to get it to stand sideways?
Yeah, there's no stand on the side.
Oh.
It's on the bottom of the monitor, but there's a stand.
Well, I mean, if it makes you feel any better, the stands that I have for my monitors are only have them sit normal, like where the width is longer than the height. But I did have a stand for a very short period of time that I would screw the back of the monitors into, and I could turn it sideways, and it doesn't look good.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, but the good news is that even though it doesn't look good, I have coffee here that tastes really good. I hope that you guys enjoy coffee. I enjoy coffee. We're not even talking about Dead by Daylight right now, but we
I
are
don't
waiting
like
for...
the caffeine. You know, it tastes good, but the caffeine, what is that stuff? It's an addiction, is what it is. I take no part in it. I take no part in it.
If it was up to me, I would only drink coffee if given the option to. But I know that that's physically impossible. So, I try to limit myself on how much caffeine I'm drinking. But yeah, I always feel like a good way of starting your day when you're playing Dead by Daylight, is, brew a good old cup of joe and, drink it while you're being face camped in the basement by an insidious Bubba. Because that's the way that it works. That's the way that Dead by Daylight is played. And then, you just relax and you go about your business, trying to enjoy the game while you are enjoying your drink. Alternatively, I do
this
think...
just isn't an opinion I can abide.
You don't agree with me.
Nope, I do not agree with this coffee nonsense.
I think that's a interesting... It's an interesting take. But, we are still waiting for Purge's survivors to enter the lobby here. There were some issues with, some problems in Discord that have been resolved from what I was told.
That's good.
But it does look like the killer for How Did We Get Here did leave the lobby as well now. I am hoping everything's good. I'm hoping that this all goes pretty smoothly. I'm a little bit confused what's going on right now, if I'm going to be honest with you. But, we are actually not doing ping tests today. Well, at least not for this game. I'm not sure about any of the other games for today, but we're not doing ping tests now. Because people weren't able to show up early in advance for the ping tests. And we have another game at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 2 hours from now. So I don't think that they thought that the game would end beforehand if we did ping tests. So we are waiting for an invite again from... How did we get here? There we go. We did, in fact, get it from Travesty On Demand. Or, as it says in-game, Travesty On Them.
Travesty On Demand. Playing the killer.
For How Did We Get Here? Now... we do need to wait and see if we can invite Purge to the lobby now. And hopefully everything is going smooth and decent. Now tell me, because
Yes.
we're gonna see we're gonna see some really interesting games today. What's the game at 3 is Asphyxia? No, not Asphyxia. What team is it? What teams are playing at 3?
What teams are playing at 3? 1 second, let me check.
It's Ice and Sigma Grinders. So this is the first...
A rather spicy match.
this is the first game of the week in the brutality division instead of the survival division. And that's gonna be on Wrecker's Yard and Rotten Fields. Uh-oh. We're gonna have a corn map, everybody. Hopefully. Hopefully we can see things in the corn map. I don't know about you, but Rotten Fields is the corniest of the maps. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Rotten Fields. I'm sorry. Even though... So, I don't know. I'm hoping that they bring out Demogorgon on Rotten Fields. I feel like it's probably just like the best pick for that map. You know, especially because Lepro's Lycan is allowed.
I do think Demo is a very underrated pick. I feel like Demo is best on smaller maps that are more vision heavy, so you can abuse the Lepros Lycan more. Whereas I feel like a map like Rotten Fields, it's very large and can be very unwieldy to deal with for the demo.
Yeah, this is I don't know. I feel like Demo is probably the only pick you can choose for Rotten Fields. Like, I'm curious. It's like, what other killers would you bring to Rotten Fields if you were playing? I definitely wouldn't pick Huntress. I definitely wouldn't pick Deathslinger. I wouldn't pick any 110 killer.
If I was going to pick Demogorgon on Rotten Fields,
No. If you're gonna play killer on Rotten Fields,
or if I was going to play killer on
Yeah.
Rotten Fields, I would think about a Billy pick if I was a good Billy.
You actually think Billy's the pick for Rotten Fields?
Yeah,
I've never seen a Billy play on Rotten Fields before, on comp at least. So I'm not sure.
The buildings are very far apart, which lets you zone pretty well. It's a very large area, open area in the center, which lets you use your mobility well. And certainly, it's very hard to play Billy in comp, but I feel like Rotten Fields has to be one of the maps that you would get forced into picking that type of killer. It's like, what else are you gonna pick? You're not gonna pick Oni. You're not gonna pick a Spirit. I feel like you could pick a Wraith. If I had to pick one for Rotten Fields, I think I would probably go Wraith.
You'd go with Wraith.
I would go with a Wraith.
Interesting. Why is that?
Well, it's a very large open map which you can make good use of your mobility. The tiles are towards the edges of the map and tend to be rather spread out, have space in between them, which, as a Wraith, means that once you've dealt with the tile, you can catch up very quickly and get another hit before they can make it to another tile a lot of the time, because there are a lot of dead zones on that map.
There are a lot of dead zones on Rotten Fields.
The gen spreads are far apart because the gens tend to be at the edges of the map, but I think Wraith can deal with this. Wraith can deal with slightly larger gen spreads as long as his problem isn't mobility and getting to the gens. His problem is what he does once he gets there, whether he can get hits and apply pressure, or whether he's just going to eat pallet after pallet while gens are getting done elsewhere.
Yeah. I'm really curious what it. I'm curious what they're gonna bring tonight. I don't know if I would bring Wraith just because, like, even though, like, I don't know. I don't know if Wraith's the right pick, because if you start uncloaking at one of the gens that is, like, near Shack or near one of the fillers, or not fillers, the tiles, like the maze tiles, then, like, the survivor might actually just make it to the window or pallet before you can hit them. depending on where the gen is positioned. Maybe you bring Uncloak and All Seeing on Rotten Fields as Wraith. I'm not sure.
I don't think that's the call. I think that as Wraith on Rotten Fields, you're gonna want to bring Shadow Dance Serpent and Bamboozle.
I don't think
that
Shadow Dance and Serpent is going to be really good on Rotten Fields because there's not that many palettes like in total.
There's not that many palettes in total, but palettes are very problematic for Wraith. And once you take them out, each of the tiles is so singular that you can just discount the whole thing with the Bamboozle. Bamboozle having synergy with Shadow Dance as you can vault faster in Cloak to quickly apply the Bamboozle while you catch up. And then, once you've eliminated palettes and windows as being a use, you're going to have to play a pressure game. Moving around the map, pressuring gens, finding downs. And I think that that is something that I would trust myself to be able to do.
I'm not sure. I think if I was playing, I'd either bring Uncloak and All Seeing, or I would bring Uncloak and the Sloppy Butcher add-on. Because I do think that the Sloppy Butcher add-on could be really powerful on that map. You know, keep people injured, bring
It is a very strong add-on.
Corrupt, Thana, Deadlock, and probably Know It as your last perk. And then yeah, try and get some good value out of that there. The good news is we're finally able to ready up. Finally starting to load into the game.
Having no Bamboozle, no Serpent, or nothing to help you in Chase, though, your Encloaking is just a basic M1. Like, it doesn't matter if the tiles are spread out, and if you can exert good pressure once the resources are used, you're going to lose in the early game. You're going to lose in the first 2 minutes because you can't quickly deal with things.
You say that, but there are a lot of Wraith players who are they're Wraith mains, and they will not bring Shadow Dance Serpent on maps like Shelter Woods, Rotten Fields, just because like that's what they've practiced in 1v1s. And you know, like they do get downs fairly fast. And they'll be bringing Play With Your Food instead of probably Bamboozle or Brutal Strength, just because, like, you know, Wraiths, I don't know. I'm not a Wraith person. I don't really enjoy the killer, if I'm going to be honest.
See, I am a Wraith main.
You're not a Wraith main.
I am a Wraith main. I spent 800 hours playing
a main of every other killer in the game.
I play a lot of these killers. I can call myself a main for however many killers I'm good with.
Then you're not a main for the killer. You're a main for killer in general.
I'm not a main for killer in general, though, because I'm not a good killer in general. I'm good on, like, 4 or 5 killers that I actually play, and then I'm bad on all the others.
So let's talk about the game that we do see.
This is going to be a mirror pick with another Bubba coming from Travesty On Demand.
Travesty's on them.
And we don't know any other perks yet.
He's gonna be on them in a minute. Sorry, I'm just realizing how funny the name is in game. We love Travesty, we love Purge, we love both teams. You know, these. Does that gen have progress already?
I believe I saw a bird fly up over there, so there might be someone stealthing around here, but it doesn't seem like we're going to take a deeper look.
He does have a really powerful 3-gen here behind Shaq, but I don't know if you want to be defending this early in the game, because 2 of those gens are corrupt. Main building has progress on it. There is somebody up there.
Survivors working on main building.
Not
a strong first gen to get done.
Deciding to break the door of main building while they're running towards the 3-gen side of the map. I think there's actually 2 3-gens. There's one around main building, one around Gallows. This could be really good for Bubba here.
Survivors grouping up around Jack, perhaps unnecessarily.
Reading
the palace. Oh, but an unlucky.
That was so close.
Extremely close chainsaw. Electing to leave the chase as the survivor gets to main building. A strong decision, especially as you know that the Nia is going to be over here, most likely working behind the water tower. As I believe that is her running.
She's pre-running from the water tower. He's just gonna give this a little bit of a kick, I think. No? Oh, there's a second survivor here. Okay. Oh no. Bumping into the little wooden plank hitbox there. The gen on the gallows is starting to get progress. That's a pre-drop from the Jake. That's a gen finished, and I don't know which one that was.
Hard to see right now. Our Bubba choosing to loop the pallet from the outside, giving the survivor access to the main building, and then just slightly missing the chainsaw cooldown there due to the fact that he has the Beast Marks add-on.
Yep, I think that that's that is a really good indicator of what add-ons the Bubba is going to be using. Now, we've still only seen one of the perks. We know that there's no deadlock because...
No deadlock. No ruin.
No deadlock, no ruin.
A lot of pop, or not a lot of pop, a lot of options that there could be still on the board, like Pop Goes the Weasel, perhaps.
There could be Pop Goes the Weasel. That's 2 more gens getting depleted. Still holding the 3 gen over by the gallows. As chase starts with this survivor. There's 2 survivors heading into the 3 gen. Nia is walking because it does. She probably has. Uh-oh. That was a 4th gen.
And that's a stun. Plus 10 wood to the face, as they say.
Now, hopefully for Trav here, he can... Oh no! They get the stun at the pallet. Gonna give him the blind too. Nia over here. That's not... That wasn't Sprint Burst. Oh my goodness, that looked like it could have hit.
Very nice pallet stun.
Incredibly nice. That almost looked like Pocos was gonna win there, but didn't get the stun. That's not balanced landing on Jake. Electing to not continue the chasing.
Nancy running in a dead zone here, right to the Bubba's left.
I don't think Bubba makes it.
Oh,
the Window Pocos on to Tricks. This is gonna be the first hook for our Bubba, and the survivors are gonna now notice the second perk from him, which is
going to be an agitation.
Trav trying to moonwalk to walk up these stairs, but unfortunately getting caught on the lockers, but is able to...
And that's going to be a balanced landing.
Yeah, that's going to be the balanced landing that we didn't see earlier. Now, let's see what they decide to do here. Excuse me. I think that Ace and Nia are probably doubled up on the gen that is on his left there. Uh-oh.
That's going to be the last gen getting done, and No
Way Out getting procced. We do not see Noed on the side of the screen, so we do know that the 4th perk is still an unknown perk we have not seen yet. We are going to camp out Tricks into the 2nd stage. and probably just push Trix into the death state, confirming the kill and securing the points. But actually, we're seeing...
As the killer right now, I feel like you wanna, now that you forced the second stage, you wanna swap to a different person and get a new fresh hook to be the person that you camp out.
Ace...
As that would be a 5-stage finish.
Ace running in the dead zone trying to get to the other gate in time. Uh-oh. That was really risky from the Ace, and even riskier for our Bubba as they do get the unhook, and there is adrenaline on Trix. We see the gate open. Trav knowing that he can eventually just wait out the timer if need be versus Nia. We'll try and force her to drop the pallet. I do think I saw Hatch there on the right, if I'm gonna be honest. Maybe not. Uh-oh.
And she makes her run away from the tile. Is God Pallet still up? And God Pallet is still up. That's going to be very impactful. Letting our Nia get to the game.
Uh-oh. Gets to the hatch! Oh,
and
my
she gets
goodness.
to the hatch.
Just in time for the four-person
escape. And a very nice performance from our survivors.
Very, very strong outcome from the survivors. Knowing how difficult it is to save versus Bubba, you know, I don't know if I would have risked the unhook on Trix because they were on death hook and you didn't want to feed a fresh hook survivor, but did get some good, you know, luck there with Hatch being right next to the hook. Now we are going to wait and see who the next killer is. Now, we did see somebody in chat earlier who is a killer on How Did We Get Here.
Yes.
How would you feel if we saw... Okay.
Psycho Mantis coming in for the killer.
I love Psycho Mantis. His name is...
Psycho Mantis. Friend to Team Mirage and you and me personally.
Yeah, Psycho Mantis is a friend of ours, and we do see him coming in here, choosing the name Psycho Mantis Heart Mirage, a team that both Fruit and I are on. We are the captains of. As Psycho says, gotta shout out the homies. we do in fact love everybody who is participating. We are very happy everybody is participating in the games here today and always.
Now, what map is Psycho going to be playing here?
Psycho is going to be playing Killer on Gas Heaven.
Gas Heaven.
Gas Heaven, the home map of How Did We Get Here.
I think what the picks that Psycho Mantis generally goes for are M1s and his main killer, Twins.
Yeah.
Neither Twins has been used up as of yet by How Did We Get Here, so we could see a Twins pick.
Now, the score. Do you want me to update you on the score? It is.
I would like to be up.
It's 44-8. That's a 36-point differential. Now, do you think Psycho is going to pick an A or S tier killer for this? I think if I was in this situation, knowing that you have
I would think that they would
points,
want to do something a bit less risky and save my better killers, perhaps, for later rounds. But even with all the rounds that we are going to be playing in this tournament, there aren't enough rounds to use up all your best killers. There have come to be a lot of strong killers in this game over the years, and
I sure would hope there are.
I don't think it's that impactful for you to still use a strong killer in this game. Now, who are you going to pick on a Gas Haven match?
If I was them, I would pick Blight. I don't know if Psycho has
Blight,
ever played Blight before, though. I literally
Twins,
have never talked to Psycho
Billy.
about Blight.
I would not pick a Blight in this situation, as I feel like with how far behind you are at this situation,
You want to do damage control.
I would just want to do damage control. I would want to save my Blight to really ensure a win on a bit closer of a match, something where
Now-
maybe you're 5 or 10 points behind, or even just even.
Now, what if I told you there are 3 games after this that How Did We Get Here is going to play? On Torment Creek, on Rancid Abattoir, and on Shelter Woods. Does that change what you are going to say about Blight? Bringing Blight to this?
Well, Blight is
Because-
certainly Blight is certainly a really good pick just as far as the map goes. But having to pick Blight in this situation and then having to get a really strong showing with Blight, otherwise having potentially wasted your Blight pick, I would simply not pick it just to not stress myself. As
See, but my
losing
thing...
a match would not really be that much of a hurt to me. There's many matches that have been lost. However, losing a match where you used an S tier, I would really feel like I had failed if I
But
had
they
done
do
that.
have access to 3 S tier uses and 2 Twins uses, which is 5 of the 6 games after this. I think it's safe to use one of your 2 Blight picks. Because Nurse is banned as of right now. They are allowed to, instead of using Nurse for this season, use a second Blight or a second Spirit. I think I would go Blight here, knowing that you have 2 accesses to it, 2 uses of Blight.
If you have 2 uses of Blight, then it does make it
a little bit of a
bit
safer
more
pick. I think.
safer of a pick.
Especially because, the season is starting to get towards the second half. We are in the second half of the season. In fact, as this is week 4 of a 7-week event, not including playoffs, which will happen afterwards. Which, as of right now, I believe Petroleum and Sigma Grinders, or is it Petroleum Sigma Grinders or Petroleum and Death Wish? It's either Sigma Grinders or Death Wish. One of them is undefeated. That's right. It's Sigma Grinders. Sigma Grinders is currently
Sigma Grinders. Death
yeah.
Wish was beat by Exile.
But I think Exile and Sigma Grinders still have to play against each other, and then no, never mind. No, they played week 1, and Exile lost. So. Yeah, I do think, as of right now, Sigma Grinders and Petroleum are the only 2 undefeated teams, which is very good looking if you're in either of those positions, as it is kind of an indicator of what Week 8 is going to be looking like, being an undefeated team, going up against another undefeated team, as of right now, of course. If I was in either of their shoes, I would be concerned. Going into the next few weeks, knowing that you have a lot of people watching you and watching your performance, and knowing that the other team is probably going to figure out what your strong suits are, what your weak points are, and play around them. Now, it does look like Psycho is actually talking in the in-game chat here, saying, Twin main extraordinaire. It's ya boy, da baby, let's go. And Psycho Mantis always tries to cheer people up. I love how positive everybody is being in here. So, let's see. You're on Gas Heaven. You're playing against Purge. You're Psycho Mantis. playing against
I
Purge.
think we're 100% gonna see a twins here.
Yeah, I do think Psycho's gonna bring out twins. This is probably one of the better maps for twins. I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to use both of their twins and one of their blights on Gas Heaven. Because I don't think that there's a better option for this map of the killers that are allowed. I'm not sure. What other maps are they playing in the rest of the season? I think that I said it was there were 2 corn maps and Shelter Woods.
I believe that was correct.
Yeah, I'm not too certain then what they're going to be bringing their other S tiers on. I'm also curious what Purge is going to bring their S tiers on. Deciding to figure out if they're going to use Blight or Spirit or Twins on any of these other maps that they're going to be playing in. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the only team to use all of their twins is Petroleum.
That's true.
So they have 3 weeks left after today of using S tiers that they can use one every week.
I feel like that's a very preferable situation to be in as a team.
Yeah, I am a little bit concerned, though, if I was in their position, knowing that some of the maps you're going to be playing on are probably better for Twins than for Blight or Spirit, because, you know, you don't have access to Nurse at this point in the season, because she is banned. It is a little bit rough, but, you know, knowing even if you don't have Twins, having 2 Blights is a big deal. We are starting to load in here, which is good news. Now, for Psycho to confirm that this game is back in the hands of both sides, instead of just a 36-point lead to Purge, I do think that Psycho needs to get a 4K before all gens are complete. Because I think, if I remember correctly, it's 26 max points for survivors. And 30 max points for killer. And
we're seeing Psycho with the Blight pick.
This is something we have never seen Psycho Mantis do before, is play Blight, but we do see some choices that are probably more popular for Blight than things that, you know, we might have seen other killers bring. We do see Corrupt Intervention here. And we don't see double speed add-ons, because that was significantly slower. Psycho Mantis playing it safe here. Trying to find some survivors out in the open. The gen up here.
That's going to be a Ruin in play.
That is Ruin. Taking chase with Lori. The Toolbox survivor. Ruin getting cleansed already.
Getting cleansed early in the game. Unlucky. And
just barely missing the
unless
flip.
I'm mistaken, that's going to be a Compound 21 that we're seeing.
That is Compound 21. Gets the hit through the pallet drop onto
nice
Dave.
Through the pallet drop.
Gonna try and get a down here. Nice play from Psycho Mantis.
A nice first down before any gens are completed. Ruin
on
off
the side of the map that is both the 3-gen and a dead zone. Going to pop this hill gen possibly? Do you think that he's gonna pop? Do you think he's gonna kick it?
If it were me, I think I would kick it. But I think he's trying to first ascertain where the survivor who is working on it went.
Yeah, and we did see some scratch marks there for a little bit. Could not find it. And there's actually Pop Goes the Weasel. So we do know that he's not out of any gen slowdown. Mr. Dave getting unhooked here. Let's see what Psycho decides to do. Oh my. They do pop the first gen in the main building as Corrupt is over.
Probably one of the easiest gens to get done on this map, the main building.
It's also probably one of the safest gens to finish, I think. Because, you know, it is a very difficult spot for Killer to chase in. Ooh, that looks like the Pyrotech coming in from Fang. Body blocking the collision points. Hawkdew playing this really safe. That's another gen finished, and I don't know if you saw, but I saw an outline of a survivor there for a split second.
I did see that.
Is Psycho running a Rancor?
Is going to be a Rancor on Blight. Pick that I can't say I've seen before. However, I have seen it get good usage on other killers.
Psycho is probably using it both for the information. Uh-oh. There's the third gen getting complete. We see more survivors working over here.
And a very close hug tech with Claudette coming in for the body block. A strategy usually not used against Blight due to the fact that he can catch up right after you've taken a body block, but one they are choosing to employ here.
That is true.
Psycho Mantis looks to be having a bit of a hard time with the collision on these cars. And that's going to be a dead hard, if I saw correctly. Claudette running into a dead zone, just trying to buy time before getting down. Luckily, Lori not getting there in time to take the hit and let her get to another resource. Going to be hooking on the same hook in the dead zone that we saw, I believe it was Lori hooked on at the start of the game. Psycho Mantis using Blight's mobility to try and interrupt that last gen, but just barely not getting there, and a very nice hit around the corner with a 90-degree flip. And this is the obsession. So if Psycho Mantis gets this down, this will be a Mori.
That is the last of the generators getting complete.
A gate
and a second win.
Open. A very unlucky lift there. Survivors coming in for the two-person body block, trying to get her to the gate. A potentially very strong play. However, Blight, having the insane mobility and extremely strong chase power, is able to get past them.
And they're trying to go for healing here.
They're trying very hard to save the Lori here.
It does look like Psycho is gonna lose them for a split second. Are they gonna try and CJ tech? I do think they were gonna try and go for it.
I do think that's what was happening.
Oh no!
A very good body block coming in, and it worked! We get the wiggle out from a very good play on the side of the play. Oh, and Psycho Mantis not bumping. I believe that'll cost him the down. It looks like he's going to try and go and interrupt them at the other gate, but I would anticipate that they are already going to be out on this gate.
This
and
gate
it looks
is
like they
open. We are gonna see another 4-man escape from the survivors here. Only 2 total hook states. Very well played. Now, very interestingly enough, we do have a 46-point difference. Purge with 58 points. How did we get here with 12? This is going to be a confirmation of the win for Purge. We are still going to be playing out the last game, though. Now, unfortunately, we are getting word in the chat that the stream is a little bit laggy and buffering a lot. Hopefully, everything is going to be a little bit smoother from here on out, because, unfortunately, my little computer hamster is not able to spin the wheel fast enough. I do think that the internet hamster, however, is trying his hardest. Can we get some W's in the chat for the hamster wheels that power everything? You know, I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see like what comes out of this. You know, Purge having a very comfortable lead might decide to bring Clown, might decide to bring Legion, might decide to bring Trapper. You know, just because they don't want to use one of their other options, or they could bring a. They can bring a killer that they would normally bring anyway. That's another option for them. What do you think they're gonna do?
I think they're going to just pick a killer that's perhaps not really comp viable, but that's going to be a very fun for whatever they're going to play. I think we might see maybe a Legion, maybe something like a Trapper. These killers that can be a lot of fun, even if they're not really very meta and comp.
Those are options. I do think we saw a really fun Legion game recently where people were bringing Iridescent Pin.
That is true.
Interesting. I'm really hoping we get a killer that is fun, that we see some nice chases on. We always want the best, not only for the players, but for the audience as well. It is always more fun when we get to see those wonderful chases. Last night, oh my goodness. Let me tell you, last night was eye-opening for me. When we were watching that pig game, I personally hate playing Pig. I feel like her animation feels weird. It feels weird to me. But watching somebody else, you know, like, ignore the weirdness of the animation has made me think of Pig in a different way, you know?
Yes.
I don't know if that's I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I kind of enjoy Pig games now. I didn't think I would, but the killer
Pig
from yesterday really
is
turned my
a
mind around.
fun killer with a fun power. And who does not like booping the snoot? That's my question.
Yeah, if you're not booping, are you really looping?
No.
Exactly. We are still waiting for an invite from Purge's killer here. It does look like I had confirmation to join the party. And we are going to be able to invite the... How did we get here? Team. We are seeing W's in the chat for the hamsters. It's exactly what we wanted to see. We are pro hamster.
Pro hamster.
Yes. We want to make sure that these little dudes can do their thing. But even better, you know, they can't see, nobody else can see the lobby right now. But I love these cosmetics.
We have great cosmetics coming in from all the survivors.
I'm hoping this is what they load in with.
Absolutely. Absolutely S tier style.
Now, we do see Psycho Mantis is going to be playing Jeff Johansson, or shall I say, how do you pronounce, what is it? How do you pronounce the name in, like, Swedish?
I don't speak Swedish.
No, I'm not. How do you pronounce...
Swedish. I'm not Swedish. I've never been to Switzerland.
Switzerland's a different country. That's... The people there are Swiss. Switzerland is Swiss. Sweden is Swedish.
Ah, yes, of course. Sweden, Switzerland, you know...
They're both in Europe. They both start with the same letters.
Perhaps I'm just too much of an American, but all the European countries seem about the same to me.
Well...
They start with an S, they start with an I, or whatever letter. I don't know any more than this.
They start with the letter S. You know, I've never been to Switzerland, but I've heard that the flag is a big plus for reasons to go there.
I can't believe you would make this joke in my presence. I can't believe it.
I'm actually more surprised that you weren't expecting me to make the joke, or expecting not to make the joke. But
you know, when I was young, this weird geography nerd came up to me and tried to tell me about the Scandinavian Triple, and I told him, no, I don't want to know. I've heard enough. No more nerd nonsense. I'll keep my my already there knowledge about this European geography. And I stand by that decision.
as somebody who quite enjoys geography, which is not something that I think most people would enjoy.
Excuse me, did you just say you enjoy geography?
Yeah. Um, I enjoy geography. Now, you know Felix
In
is
what
from
way?
isn't Felix like Swedish?
Which Felix?
There's only one Felix. Felix Richter from Dead by Daylight.
I don't know where Felix Richter from Dead by Daylight's from. He got sucked into the fog. He doesn't even know what the Earth is anymore.
He might be Danish. It does look like they're gonna start. It does look like they're gonna load in with these outfits. We have a Scoops Ahoy Steve. We have a Blighted Felix. We have the silliest looking Jeff with who's wearing the striped pants and the corpse paint. And we have a Bunny Fang.
Bunny Fang. You gotta respect the Bunny Fang.
I'm kind of digging this. Johansson. It's Jeff Johansson. Thank you, Amy, in the chat for explaining that to me. I do, in fact, need some help with that. Now, let's see, right? You have Abs playing Killer for Purge. I've never seen Abs play Killer before. So this could be a really interesting game. But I've also never seen... Never mind, that's not true. I almost lied to you. I have seen Psycho play Survivor before. In fact, we got to play versus Psycho's Survivor. We've also been able to play with Psycho's Survivor. Jeff Johansson, who is now wearing a different shirt than before. Never mind, he's back to his original shirt. We're now commentating on the fashion of these survivors because we know that is one of the most important things about this game.
It's like they always say, whether you play well or badly in Dead by Daylight has nothing to do with your knowledge of the game. It has everything to do with how good your movement looks with the skin that you're using.
Right. You know, in Dark Souls, they say fashion souls, you know, because most of the armor actually does affect how good you are, like your character is in the game. But it's always just better to look nice, which is why games do have these kinds of cosmetics to make you appear more intimidating to everything around you, whether that is a woman who can teleport through walls and wheezes, named Sally Smithson, or a man with a detached jaw who may or may not have an addiction to the blighted serum, named Talbot Grimes.
I know the names of the killers in Dead by Daylight. I'm Iratori.
I am. I do. I signed up for a 1v1 event yesterday, and I put Kenneth Chase as the killer I was gonna play.
Kenneth Chase.
Yes, I put Kenneth Chase, and then I was informed 10 seconds later, after they asked, who is Kenneth Chase? And I responded, strongest clown NA. I was informed clown is not an option.
Wow.
So I had to play Anna instead.
Anna doesn't have a last name. It's very sad for her.
But, you know, even if it's sad, you know what's happy? You know what we're excited about?
What's happy is that survivors are loading in versus the pig from Dead by Daylight. Amanda Young, as they say.
I'm pretty sure she is not from Dead by Daylight. She's from Saw. But that's okay. Please excuse my friend here, Fruit.
I'm pretty sure it is from Dead by Daylight. I first saw the pig in Dead by Daylight. I'll have you know that. And almost getting a grab off the generator.
On
entering
Psycho
trades with
Mantis.
Psycho Mantis running to the corrupt block and looping what I believe is going to be a long wall jungle gym, choosing not to wall there. And
Mind
making
games that
a
so
small
well.
mistake around the pallet, giving a fast down to the killer in the corrupt block.
What? That's power struggle
And
from
a
Psycho.
power struggle used from Psycho Mantis.
Wait, how did
who's
he have enough time to...
teabagging the killer? That is the power struggle buff. Now only taking 15% wiggle progress.
Wait, does that mean that he also has Unbreakable?
It could mean that he has... Oh!
Drops
Perhaps
the
a
pallet on the
misfire
wrong
at the
side.
pallet!
Oh no.
But this power struggle could indicate
Those
Psycho
are-
Mantis is also running a flip-flop, an Unbreakable.
Oh my
Oh, and
goodness.
that
We see
is
Blast
going to
Mine
be
and we
a
see...
Blast Mine and...
Is that Deadlock
A
or was that Repressed
repressed-
Alliance?
A repressed alliance use activated during the blast mine. Steve aggressively teabagging the killer.
Using his leg muscles to show the killer who is boss. Is he gonna be a dead hard here? No dead hard.
Steve did not skip leg day.
I
Now,
do think we saw earlier that there were some
another trap
Tinker
place.
triggers on the right side of the screen.
There was a Tinker trigger. So we know that there will be a Corrupt, a Pop Goes the Weasel, and a Tinker with a last mystery perk. And
There's
from
Tinker
seeing
again.
the placement speed of the trap, we can say that this killer has a Crate of Gears and one other add-on that we have not seen yet.
That was a good play by the Felix, using the fire barrel to his advantage, and unfortunately Abs taking out all of their anger on the fire barrel instead of
And
Geeky Giraffe.
That is going to be an activated trap on the Jeff Johnson and an activated trap on the Steve. However, the Steve is on the hook, so the timer will not start to progress down as of yet.
But Psycho does have a ticking time bomb. There's an unhook.
That is going to be an unhook before stage 2 on the Steve. A very lucky unhook, because it was very close to hitting stage 2. The pig going to be choosing to tunnel the person with the trap on their head, even through this likely decisive strike.
Do you remember who the first hook was by chance? It was Psycho Mantis, correct?
The first hook was Psycho Mantis, who has just gotten their trap off. Very lucky. And that's going to be a Sabo play. That's going to be a Sabo play. I believe this survivor does not have a toolbox, so that is going to be Saboteur. A personal favorite perk of mine. Not as much as Dead Hard, though. Sorry, killers.
Wait a second, that's Psycho Mantis.
Going for the pallet save, Psycho Mantis.
He unfortunately was not able to hide enough, but I
And
do think that this could be flip-flop power
unlucky
struggle here
two-tap.
at the pallet. Is he gonna get it off? No, not in time.
Very luckily did not get it off for our killer, but I can only imagine with the new buffed flip-flop power struggle, that was a very, very close call for our killer.
That's Felix Richter trying to get the save. Goes for the blind, gets a pickup on the pallet here. Sandbags!
And a sandbag into a dumb attack.
Oh my goodness.
Big plays happening from
This looks like a dead
sides.
hard. Oh no.
Oh, but no, Dead Hard. Steve going to be getting the unhook here.
This is a kick on this generator. I think this is the new Amanda outfit.
I believe you're
I've never
right.
seen the fishnets before.
It is the new Amanda outfit, as I have used it, and it has some very tasteful fishnets.
All the fishnets are tasteful.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but these ones are.
I do think we are starting to delve a little too much into the fashion sense of the players for today. Judging them
really
in ways
think
that you'd
that-
think we are Joan Rivers and Kelly Osbourne.
I really think that our mistake was not diving into the fashion sense of the killers and survivors earlier in the game.
That is the booped snoot from Psycho
And
Mantis. Unfortunately,
is that
not
going to be
teching.
a decisive strike, perhaps? No decisive strike. That's very unlucky for a survivor, as I believe Psycho Mantis will be dead on this one.
This is death hook for Psycho Mantis. The score is now 69-14. I don't know if you've been counting, but that does mean it is 69-14.
I think you're right that the score being 69-14 does indicate that it is that score. I believe that is going to be a red herring, perhaps triggered a little bit early to bamboozle the killer. Killer trying to find the player who used this red herring. As in order to activate a red herring, you do have to go into a locker.
This looks like Travesty on demand. Drops the pallet. Well, tries to get the head-on stun from Felix. Fortunately, it is not close enough. As we said earlier, we know Steve doesn't miss a leg day. We saw some more bags at the pallet there.
Does not miss a leg day.
Amanda probably also thinking to herself, wait, was that Pebble? That was Pebble. Amanda probably also thinking to herself, she needs to get on the same leg routine as the survivors here. Gets a sneaky down.
A sneaky down with the Tinker and applying a pop to this generator.
Now, correct me if I am wrong. This is her second hook. This is, in fact, her second hook.
It is her second hook. The killer choosing not to put a trap on her head when they do have a trap left.
Only one, though. They only have one left, I believe.
Only one trap left, but nonetheless, an interesting decision from the
Ab's
killer.
using some very interesting camera work here. Please tell me this is a decisive strike. That's a decisive strike. Okay, okay. We're going back in the locker.
A decisive strike?
Head on.
Into a head on.
Double stuns for the win. Plus 10 locker to the face. This is going to be a hit through the window. On to Geeky Giraffe. Geeky Giraffe going to be placed onto this second hook stage. Getting another cheeky down. That's Repressed Alliance. Repressed Alliance.
Alliance.
In the face of danger, Travesty says, I know it, and I've seen death, I've looked it in the eye, and I've blocked its gens. That's the unhook. This is going to be Travesty's second hook. As we have been counting, we do know 4 of the killer perks, if I am not mistaken. I don't think we called it out earlier, but there is a deadlock in play that we saw after the first gen got popped.
That is true.
And the survivors should notice that the tampered timer is also in play when there was the head traps activated at the start of the game. Amanda
Well,
is
you
showing
can't
us
see
her bloody
that from the
hands.
killer perspective, so you wouldn't know that the tamper timer was in play unless someone had died to the head trap. And you had a very good game sense for how long pig traps take to kill people.
I think that the tamper timer got buffed, so it is a little bit more
It got
significant.
nerfed.
Oh, it got
It's
nerfed, sorry.
Yeah, no. It used to be overpowered. Now it's just pretty good. It used to be a 30-second reduction from the tamper timer from 2.5 minutes to only 2 minutes. But that was, let's be blatant, it was very overpowered when combined with the Creative Gears or the Jigsaw sketch, as you physically could not search all 4 boxes or all 5 boxes during the time allotted.
If needed to
Especially
search all of them.
if you needed to. So if you got unlucky, you could get guaranteed killed even if you started searching them immediately. So they nerfed the tamper timer
Felix
to
over here.
only add an extra 20 seconds to the timer instead of 30.
Uh-oh. We see Leg Day is putting in its work for our killer. We do see that payoff.
Getting in some good exercise, clearing their mind before murdering Geeky Giraffe.
We do, in fact, see the 4K come in from those fishnet stocking, leg exercising pig named Amanda Young. And that is...
I believe that will be the finish to our set of How Did We Get Here versus Purge.
Yes. 88 points for Purge, 14 points for How Did We Get Here. What an exciting game. That last one, really fun. Really, just like everybody bringing things, to enjoy their games. So, yeah. There are, in fact, some fun things that happened today. We are going to take a check here to see if we are going to be taking an interview. And then when we find out, we will obviously be telling you what is going on with that. So, let's see. What is the play here from from Purge in the post game? What is the play? Fruit, can you tell me, what was your favorite thing about the games today?
I think my favorite thing about the games today were the large variety of perks that we got to see. There being Blast Mines, Repressed Alliance, Head On. These perks that I think are very fun to see played around.
Yeah, I really enjoyed, I think the Bubba games were probably some of the more interesting Bubba games that we've seen in all comp in the past recent memory. I am getting word that we are not going to be doing interview because there is a game at 3 p.m. Now,
all right.
Tell me, how excited are you for Sigma Grinders? Sorry, wait, is it the Sigma Grinders game next? Sigma Grinders versus Ice?
It will be Sigma Grinders versus Ice in the next match.
That's going to be exciting. Everybody, don't go away. In just about 50 minutes, we will be... Sorry, 40 minutes. We'll be back for the game Ice and Sigma Grinders in Wrecker's Yard and Rotten Fields. We're going to see the first game of the Brutality Division for the week being played. And then later tonight, we have a 5 p.m. game of Entity versus Petroleum and a 9 p.m. game of Mirage versus Exile, which our friend Psycho Mantis, who we've been talking about nonstop now, is going to be casting. Psycho Mantis, great friend of mine. You know, he was the which survivor was he playing? He was playing Jeff in the last game.
Jeff Johansson.
Jeff Johansson
In the last game.
In
Jeff
the last
Johansson.
game. Friendly as he can be, showing love to everybody, being respectful from both sides. We love having everybody treat each other, you know, remember that this is a competitive environment, this is a professional environment, and, you know, taking it seriously. So, from our home in Entities Arena to yours, we wish all of you a wonderful rest of your day if we don't see you later. And stay tuned, because in about half an hour, in 40 minutes, we'll be back for Ice vs. Sigma Grinders. Fruit, do you have any last words?
I have no more words to say.
Well, unfortunately, I am gonna cut you off either way.
Wow.
Have a wonderful... Wait, you're cutting me off now? Alright, have a wonderful day, everybody. If we don't see you later, have a nice day.
Yes.
And now, I've gotta wait for the stream to catch up. Why is my internet connection bad? I need to figure out why it's so bad. I've become
Alright.
so...
I had to go make tuna salad. I'll be back on in a bit.
Alright, enjoy. I'm gonna probably go eat lunch.
Is it
as well.
3 or 3:30?
It's 3. The game is at 3, but we should be on here around 2:30, 2:35. I have to be on by 2:30 because the ping test, if they're doing one.
Alright, well, I had to go eat lunch. I'll be back
Alright.
before 3.
Alright, cool. I've become so numb.